guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. All right, guys, it's Wednesday, June the 3rd, which we all know what that means. Tomorrow is the big day, and Trump has been alluding to it for a long time. Q has been alluding to it for a long time. So if you're anything like me, I've been waiting for this day with bated breath. And I wish I could just stay home and, focus on watching everything on the TV, but I can't. I've got to take my mother and my stepfather out of town for his medical appointment. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be home in good time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, be able to get caught up on everything and still do a program tomorrow night. But it will be late. I'm just giving you that advanced warning. It will be late. Now, I am expecting something. I think anybody that's followed Q, I think they're expecting something big to happen tomorrow. I don't know. I know I will be disappointed if it doesn't. And by big, we mean a big announcement of some sort. Something, earth-shattering. That's what I'm expecting. Now, I've been wrong before, but I wouldn't be the only one that's wrong, because I think everyone that follows Q and reports on Q is expecting something. Now, what that something is, that's up for debate. Many of us would like it to be that JFK Jr. is still alive. I know that's out there, but if you've taken the time to look at all the information that's out there on it, I don't know how anybody could come to any other conclusion. So I guess we'll all see. But I know for myself, if I climb into bed tomorrow night and haven't had some sort of earth-shattering announcement, I'm going to be very disappointed. But I will look for it in the days to follow, that's for sure, because Trump said a couple weeks ago that there was a big announcement in 2 weeks. And of course, they've been talking about this big parade and everything for a long, long time. I know it has really triggered the left, They are, they're right offside about this. And they keep going on and on about the money. But from what I understand, and Trump made I may even have copied it and pasted it here, I'm not sure, but Trump even made the comment that, well, look, like the military are going to be paid, whether they're working at the parade or where they're working anywhere. The tanks belong to us, all the other equipment belong to us, and the fireworks have been donated. So he's saying, no, it's not costing us a lot of money. And I don't know how the Democrats can get away with complaining about this, to tell you the truth, because didn't they just blow like 40-some million on an investigation that never needed to be investigated because there was no crime? Yeah, so not sure what they're talking about, costing all this money. Where would they rather us put our taxpayer dollars? I guess into just flogging a dead horse and continuing to harass and harangue President Trump. That's where they want the money to go. They don't care about the people or what the people want. They only care about themselves. They are not for this country. They are definitely not for this country. So let's get right into the news. And for those of you that wonder, it is 9:27 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, I apologize. I'm getting a late start tonight, but it could not be helped tonight. And tomorrow it's going to be late as well. I am hoping that unless they keep him in the hospital, that he will be released and I will be able to come home and do a program tomorrow night. But just going to have to wait and see. My plan right now is to come home, research what's happened while I've been gone, and then do a program late. So, not that I believe in luck, but anyway. Okay. Let's get to these news items because I know you want me to, of course. And okay, let me just say this before I get started, okay? Sammy has learned to turn only in the kitchen because the other light switches are up too far on the wall. But in the kitchen, he gets up on the counter and the light switch is right there. And he knows how to turn it off. I haven't seen him turn it on yet, but he knows how to turn it off. And he looks so proud of himself when he does it. He switches it off, he looks around, and he goes, look, I made darkness. Yeah, he's quite the cat. Quite the cat. All right. So MSNBC won't air Trump's July 4th event. Well, now none of them are going to be airing it except for Fox. And that should surprise no one. CNN's not covering it, MSNBC, I mean, all the major networks will not cover it except for Fox. This is pretty pathetic. It's pathetic. I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody, but it is pathetic. This is the president of the United States, and he is a duly elected president. He didn't just walk in there and, it wasn't a coup that he took over. There was no hostility. We, the people, voted him in. What is the problem? I don't get it. I do get it. I do. But I don't. If you know, I know that probably doesn't make sense to anyone, but I bet you guys are grappling with the same thing. It's like, when has there ever been a president that someone says, I just don't like him. I don't think we'll air him on our network. Nah, I don't like him. Really? When has that ever happened? Never, ever. It's unbelievable. And Trump promises a July 4th like no other.
Washington, D.C. It'll be like no other. It'll be special, and I hope a lot of people come, and it's going to be about this country, and it's a salute to America, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to say a few words, and we're going to have planes going overhead, the best fighter jets in the world, and other planes too, and we're going to have some tanks stationed outside.
You know, he keeps bringing that up. There's going to be fighter jets going over. There's going to be tanks stationed outside. Is he expecting something, or is he going to announce something that is going to make the left go nuts? I don't know. But it just makes me wonder. Now, it could be, I know, once you're into conspiracy theories, you tend to think that way about everything. And I try not to do that, because really it could be that, he loves the men and women in uniform, unlike any other president there's ever been. Not in my lifespan anyway. He loves the military, and he's grateful for them. He's continually thanking them for the job that they're doing. And maybe he just wants an opportunity to show them off. But on the other hand, it could be that he is expecting unrest. I don't know. But we don't have long to wait to find out, do we? So, because if all goes well, July 4th will be tomorrow, and we'll all wake up to it. If all goes well, I don't think that the earth is going to, pass away from now till tomorrow. I doubt it. Anyway, he's not... MSNBC will not air the entirety of President Trump's planned salute to America on July 4th, instead opting to carry on with regularly scheduled news programming that may include clips of the event. A spokesperson for the network told Politico it potentially will air parts of the event during Thursday's newscast, which will continue normally with The Beat with Ari Melber, airing live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and Hardball with Chris Matthews at 7 p.m. The network did not immediately return the Hill's request for more information on its Thursday schedule. Well, yeah, no wonder. I wonder if they're expecting something to happen too, and so they're holding that schedule open for now. I don't know. But it's just all very interesting. All very, very interesting. And let's leave that up. I found this, and you guys can find this too. Actually, I think somebody sent me a link to it, which I'm thankful for, whoever that was. Thank you. It is to Bill Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse. We've talked about this many times on this program, and of course, the cough shows up. And it is It was written a while ago, but it is a phenomenal book. So you can get it, the full audio book, on YouTube for free. Just search for Bill Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse, and you will find it. I know that many of you may be interested in that, so I just thought I would mention it there. All right, now let's go on to the next item. Excuse me. Okay, now, for some reason, this isn't going to do that. It's going to let me do it that way, so we'll do it another way. We can't be defeated that easily. And thank you guys. After my last video, so many of you bought me coffee, and it was, it just, I don't know, it warmed my heart because you guys always seem to come through, and I appreciate it so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's look at this. New York City quietly conducted a snowbola drill shortly before the bongo migrant surge. Well, well, well. Gee, I wonder why. Why do they need to do that? Oh, it's probably nothing. They probably have these snowbola drills every year. Okay, maybe every 5 years. Maybe never. Except now. All right. So, New York City partnered with New York State to carry out a snowbola outbreak drill in April 2019, right around the time the city started looking for applicants to fill a short-term snowbola manager position for the city's health department. New York City's health department issued a little noticed public release on April 30th entitled New York City and New Jersey health departments conduct emergency exercise to safely transport a simulated snowbola patient to New York City Health and Hospitals / Bellevue. The drill, flagged by Global Tracker Ebola Outbreak Map, was quietly conducted before the current bongo migrant surge at our southern border hit the press, with bongo migrants flooding into San Antonio, Texas, amid the snowbola outbreak in their home country. Bongo migrants said in June that their travel to the United States took 6 months, meaning that New York City was formerly preparing for a snowbola outbreak while the migrants were on their way to America. Things that make you go, yeah, indeed. All right. The city government stated, emphasis added, in order to prepare for viral outbreaks occurring in other parts of the world, New York City and state partnered with first responders in New Jersey to conduct an emergency exercise last week to transport a person pretending to be a snowbola patient to New York City Health and Hospitals Bellevue. Agencies that participated in the drill included the Health Department, New York City Health and Hospitals, the Fire Department, and the City of New York State Department of Health, the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, and health and law enforcement agencies from New Jersey. The exercise entailed the transfer of a person pretending to be a snowbola patient from Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Jersey to the regional snowbola and other special pathogen treatment center at New York City Health and Hospitals Bellevue in New York City. So what I'm saying is that they were doing this while these migrants were en route. So do you think that they kind of surmised that they were probably some carrying this virus? That's what I think. I think it's pretty obvious. And also, it's interesting, I found out that there is a large amount of these migrants that have landed in Montreal. Yeah. And In one way, it makes sense because that is the French part of Canada. So they are French speaking. So they don't have to adapt to, learning a new language. But it's concerning to me, very concerning. Montreal isn't that far from me. And the other thing is that I'm going to my local Walmart, and I went there tonight to get groceries, and I'm seeing all these people from the Bongo, that Sheldon plays the bongos. Never mind. If you don't watch that show, then you won't know what I'm talking about. And I certainly don't have cable anymore, so I don't watch it. I think it's over now. But anyway, neither here nor there. I'm being easily distracted tonight. So I'm looking at these people and I'm thinking they have not been here long. You can tell people that are not from here. You just can. And no, it's not by the color of their skin, because there are increasingly more black faces I'm seeing, which I like because I'm used to that. In the South, I'm used to that diversity, and I like that. But what I don't like is people coming here that have not been properly vetted and could be carrying disease. I don't know. They might be absolutely fine. They looked like absolutely lovely people, family people, but it makes me wonder. And, you don't want to repel from them and put a mask on. I mean, I don't want to insult anyone, but I don't want to get sick either. And interestingly enough, now that all of these migrants are showing up in Montreal, they've had a bad outbreak of measles. Suddenly everybody's getting sick with the measles there. Yeah, I'm sure it's just the measles. People just routinely die from the measles, don't you know? Anyway, all right, that's enough of that. Let's go back here. I'm awfully chatty tonight for some reason. I don't know. I better pick up the speed or I'll never get through all this. Okay, so breaking: ABC, CBS, and NBC follow MSNBC and have announced that they will not air Trump's July 4th parade. Well, bully for them. It's their loss. They'll lose the ratings. Fox is going to go through the roof, because that's the only place people can go to watch it. So, yeah, they're just cutting off their noses to spite their faces. That's what they're doing. But they don't see it that way. No, they don't. They'd rather lose money than give in, and it's sad. I don't know how anybody runs a business like that, really. I mean, if you were a business owner, let's say you owned a restaurant and you don't particularly like liberals. Would you stand at the door and maybe they have a shirt on that's supporting a liberal politician and you say, no, thank you. You can't eat here. It's a business. You're not catering to people's political needs. You're catering to their hunger. So I don't know. I think these people are nuts because literally they shoot themselves in the foot continually. All right, the news reports about the Department of Commerce dropping its quest to put the citizenship question on the census is incorrect. Or, to state it differently, fake. We are absolutely moving forward as we must because of the importance of the answer to this question. So I was upset about that because the news was reporting that no, they're not going to put that on the census. Well, Trump says differently, and if I have to trust, if they're asking me to trust the liberal media over Donald Trump, nah. I believe what he says. I believe that he will move forward with that. And I'm betting he'll get his way. All right. Okay, let's look at this now. This is going to be another one that isn't going to come up properly. I don't know. It's one of those days. It really has been one of those days. and it's been hot here. It's been in the 90s here. And my house is so cool tonight because I had the air conditioner on all day that I had to put a sweater on. I was like, oh, I came home and it was really chilly. All right. Here we go. Major leak report exposes Hillary Clinton's dirty trick to defeat Trump in the 2016 election. She's something else. A new bombshell leak of information from a top GOP lawmaker exposes Hillary Clinton's dirty trick to defeat then-candidate Donald Trump in the 2016 election. Representative Devin Nunes, I knew it was him, told The Hill that State Department notes indicate that the discredited Steele dossier was nothing more than a political document for the Clinton campaign to discredit Trump. Well, we've known that, but nice that it's coming out in the news now. They've tried to hide a lot of documents from us during our investigation, and it usually turns out there's a reason for it, Nunes said. Nunes said the papers were withheld from the House Intelligence Committee, which is why he's leaking the information now. Basically, the State Department knew the dossier was nothing more than a political hit piece against Trump, but it was still used by the FBI to justify spying on the Trump campaign. From the Daily Caller, the fanciful account was designed to be used as political mud to be slung during the 2016 presidential campaign and had to be finished before Election Day, The Hill reports. The conclusion is revealed in a written account from Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Kathleen Kavelik's October 11th, 2016 meeting with former MI6 agent Christopher Steele. Steele reportedly acknowledged that his intelligence gathering mission was nothing more than a political job for the Hillary Clinton election campaign. The conversation between Kavelik and Steele and her account of it all happened 10 days before the FBI decided Steele's research should provide the basis of obtaining a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act FISA warrant to spy on the Trump campaign, starting with former advisor Carter Page. Kavelik wrote that Steele's client, the Clinton campaign, is keen to see this information come to light prior to November 8th, Election Day in 2016. Well, I bet Clinton was keen to see that information come to light. That lie wasn't, well, it was information, but it was false information. Here's more from The Hill on how desperate the heavy redactions, Kavelik's notes, have major consequences. My gosh, I can't even talk tonight. For the first time, we have written proof that the U.S. government knew well before the FBI secured the FISA warrant that Steele had a political motive and Election Day deadline to make his dossier public. And we know that information was transmitted before the Carter Page FISA warrant to one or more people whose job is so sensitive that their identity had to be protected. That means there is little chance the FBI didn't know about Steele's political client or the Election Day deadline before requesting the FISA warrant. Documents and testimony from the Department of Justice official Bruce Orr, whose wife Nellie worked for Fusion GPS, no conflict of interest there, he told the FBI in August 2016 that Steele was desperate to defeat Trump and his work had something to do with Clinton's campaign. Kavelik's notes make clear the DNC was a likely client and the election was Steele's deadline to smear Trump. Likewise, there is little chance the FBI didn't know that Steele, then a bureau informant, had broken protocol and gone to the State Department in an effort to make the Trump dirt public. In other words, State Department documents show the Clinton-funded dossier was nothing more than a political hit piece against Trump, but somehow it was used by the FBI to justify spying on the Trump campaign. Now, if you've been following Q, we knew all this, but now it's coming out. And you know why it's coming out? Because of Devin Nunes. Because, we've known as followers of Q, but the general public has not known. And I really hope that, because to tell you the truth, there's a lot of people out there that still think Trump colluded with the Russians. You ask them, and they'll tell you. And It will boggle your mind. I just look at them like with the deer in the headlights look like. Really, I don't get it. Like, are these people so inept at looking at things for themselves, or maybe they just don't want to look for things for themselves because they accept what they're told and it's confirming their bias. They don't like Trump, and that story is confirming their bias. So they're not going to question it. They don't want to question it. They have no motive to question it. They don't like Trump. There you go. All right. Now, let's go back, see what other trouble we can get in. Well, not literally trouble we can get in, but you know what I mean. All right. And this by Sick and Tirade. Ava. Now, Ava was mini AOC. And I don't know if you've seen that. I think everybody has seen it. She would do these little kind of parodies of AOC. And she was good at it. Just a very cute little girl. And she was a little girl. I think she's 11. I'm not sure. But, and she's got the long hair and she put her lipstick dark and wear the glasses like AOC does. And she does a fantastic job. Anyway, this will make you sick. Ava will not be doing any more mini AOC content. The left's harassment and death threats have gone too far for our family, where we have been getting calls on our personal phone numbers. For our safety and for our child's safety, we deleted all mini AOC accounts. It was triggering the left, and you know, they're so sensitive, you know, everything offends them. Everything. Really. I don't know. Imagine being that sensitive. Seriously, I wouldn't have lasted. With everything I've been through in life, I'd be dead. If I was that sensitive, like these snowflakes, really, everything offends them. Everything. They'll go into yards and steal Trump signs and, you know, and I see people have resorted to electrifying their fences, and so people will go to steal them and they get, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but it's funny because, you know, you shouldn't steal other people's property. Just because, oh my gosh, I saw the T word, oh, I gotta throw that sign away because I walk by here regularly and when I see it, I get so upset. Yeah. Well, maybe that electric shock will put some sense back into them. I don't know. All right. So there you go. They like to ruin our enjoyment in everything. I enjoyed seeing those little skits from her. She's cute as a bug and just, I don't know, she just did a really good job at it. And death threats? Come on. She's 11 years old. But I guess, you know, if they're so gung-ho on killing babies, well, you know, it's just an older baby, I guess. They look at it that way. Who knows? I don't even want to get in their head. I don't, because it would scare me. And I think I would hear my voice echo. So that's another reason I wouldn't want to crawl in their head, because all the echoing would be very confusing. All right, so let's look at this. No, really, let's. Iran has just issued a new warning. Rouhani says that they will enrich uranium to any amount we want if there is no new nuclear deal. Be careful with the threats, Iran. They can come back to bite you like no one has been bitten before. Now, this person is finding a, this is from, well, I got this off of Twitter, but I'm thinking that it probably came from the Chans. And then over here, that was on the 3rd of July, 1:33 p.m., and this was on the 22nd of July, 2018. And it says, to Iranian President Rouhani, never, ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious. Now, the interesting thing is the difference between these two tweets is the time period between July 22nd, 2018 and July 3rd, 2019, exclusive, equals 346 days, or 49 weeks and 3 days, or 11 months and 11 days. We come over here, and this is a Q post from March 8th, and it's making reference to another Q post where he said, Iran, from March 8th, saying, Iran next, a tougher nut to crack. Q team, I hope your negotiations with Mahmoud are going well. No, I guess this is from an anon here. Iran next, a tougher nut to crack. Q team, I hope your negotiations with Mahmoud are going well. And Q responds, March 8th, 2018, and he says, resolved by 11/11. And the difference between the two tweets is 11 months and 11 days. Now, we had all that action yesterday. I have tried and tried and tried to get to the bottom of that today and have not been able to. I think we will know, because Pence said we'll know in a couple weeks. I don't know, but it's interesting that these two tweets are 11 months and 11 days between each other, and Q said here resolved by 11/11, which means that it was resolved today. Now, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? I thought it was quite uninteresting. I don't know. I think there's something to it, because that is exactly how Q works and has worked. And the more we listened to Q and the more we looked at it, the more we saw how and learned how he communicated. And that is how he communicates. So I do believe there's something to that. I really, really do. Okay. Now, here's something else that's going to make you happy. I promise. See, I'm giving you some things that'll make you happy tonight. Like I told you about about Trump, you know, it was false news about them saying that the citizenship question wasn't going to be on the census, and that's good news. See, I'm trying harder to get some good news to give you. Don't want to give you all bad news. Trump administration hits some immigrants in the U.S. illegally with fines up to $500,000. Now, what happens if they don't pay the fine? I don't know. Maybe this will tell us, and maybe it won't. The Trump administration is seeking to fine some immigrants who are in the United States illegally hundreds of thousands of dollars for failing to take steps to leave after being ordered to do so, according to government documents obtained by NPR. The Department of Homeland Security sent out a batch of notices across the country to targeted individuals, ordering them to pay fines of up to nearly $500,000 for failing to depart the U.S. as previously agreed, among other factors. It's the latest hardline effort by the administration as it clamps down on illegal immigration at the border and increases interior enforcement. It is the intention of ICE to order you to pay a fine in the amount of $497.777, or $777. I don't know what I think it was so hot out today, my brain fried a little. I'm not sure, but that's what we're going with. So anyway, Lisa Hoycht, don't know if I pronounced that right, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer wrote to Edith Espinal Moreno in a letter dated June 25th, 2019, obtained by NPR from lawyers for Moreno. Upon the basis of the foregoing allegations, it is charged that you are in violation of the following provisions of law, Section 274D of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Wherefore, pursuant to Section 274D of the Immigration and Nationality Act and Section 280 of Title 8, it is the intention of ICE to order you to pay a fine in the amount of what I just said. The letters come as Trump administration prepares to carry out delayed immigration sweeps of migrant families who have received deportation orders. President Trump said Monday while signing legislation providing $4.6 billion in funding to address the influx of migrants from Central America that the immigration raids will begin after the July 4th holiday if Congress can pass new restrictions on asylum laws. At the beginning of his term, Trump signed an executive order promising as soon as practicable and by no later than 1 year after the date of this order that the administration will begin collecting of all fines and penalties that the secretary is authorized under the law to assess and collect from aliens unlawfully present in the United States. ICE said the Immigration and Nationality Act grants the agency the right to impose civil fines on aliens who have been ordered removed or granted voluntary departure and fail to depart the United States. It states fines of no more than $500 for each day the person is in violation of this section, but immigration lawyers say they've never heard of it used in this manner. Well, that's maybe because no other president has enforced it. An ICE official said undocumented immigrants who willfully refuse to meet the obligations of an order issued by the Justice Department's Executive Office for Immigration Review may receive a notice of intention to fine and then are subsequently provided a 30-day period to respond before a formal decision whether to issue a fine is made. ICE officials said the agency began issuing these notices in December 2018 on a case-by-case basis, taking into account steps the individual has taken to fulfill the court's orders. ICE is committed to using various enforcement methods, including arrest, detention, technological monitoring, and financial penalties to enforce U.S. immigration law and maintain the integrity of legal orders issued by judges, ICE spokesman Matthew Burke told NPR. Pro-immigrant advocates argue the Trump administration is trying to instill fear and confusion in, who the heck cares what they say? Espinal, 42, said she could not believe the U.S. government thought she would have almost $500,000. She's been living in sanctuary at an Ohio church since an immigration judge ordered her removal 2 years ago. The church, its congregation, and the community have largely supported her and her family. They want to scare me, Espinal said, adding, because they know I am in sanctuary and they know I don't have this amount of money. Espinal said she came to the United States from Mexico with her father when she was 16. She now has 3 children of her own, including 2 who are U.S. citizens. She said her whole life is in the United States and she cannot return to Mexico. Leon Fresco, who served as Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Office of Immigration Litigation in the Obama administration, said he could not recall a time when such high fines were used during the previous administration. It's a vivid illustration of the lengths the Trump administration will go to use any available authority to try to enforce immigration law, Fresco said. That's right. I have not seen a $300,000 fine for failing to facilitate one's own removal. Well, you have now. Right? I mean, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. I don't understand why these people don't get it. I really don't. You're breaking the law. If you want to stay in the country, do it legally. There are legal means to obtain your citizenship. But if you come here illegally, it's much harder. I mean, when I immigrated to the United States, I could only stay, because my immigration stuff was not through yet, I could only stay 6 months and I had to return back to Canada. Well, that was a great financial burden to me because I lived in North Carolina and, it's not cheap to fly. And I'd have to fly home and then back because I could only stay in the country 6 months. But I wanted my immigration and I wanted everything to go the way it should. I didn't want them to ever say to me, well, you didn't do this and you should have done this, and because they will. And I did everything legally. And so I don't get it. I mean, I can't just go over to Mexico and start living. I can't go to any country on earth and just take up residence there. maybe there is such a country. I don't know. If there is, I don't know about it. And, if there is, it's probably not a very desirable place to want to live anyway. So let's get off that subject and go on, because there's more to be seen. More, always more. I'm going to skip this one for now, but this is interesting. And I guess somebody is saying, I don't know too much about this because I don't study this kind of stuff, but those who do say it's because of a grand solar minimum that we are seeing all these eruptions and earthquakes and so forth. That is why they are so concerned about the Cascadian subduction zone, because it has been active. The whole ring of fire has been active, but the other side has been active, and when that is active, it means that the other side, which is California, needs to release pressure, and they're afraid that the big one's coming. Now, of course, it's been overdue for 200 years, something like that. So it is coming, and all these people that are doom and gloom and they keep saying that it's coming, one day they'll be right and they'll say, oh, I told you guys, but it is coming. I mean, we know that, but there's also all these volcanoes and all these things happening. And this is on the island of Stromboli, and that is in Italy. And there has been a large eruption, and the whole island has been evacuated. So a tourist has died after a volcano erupted on the Italian island of Stromboli on Wednesday. Marco Giorgiani, the mayor of neighboring Lipari, told the Italian news agency ANSA. The victim was reportedly in the nearby village of Ginostra. The volcano is a popular travel destination. Tourists often climb to the 924-meter summit to look at the crater, which routinely spews small pieces of molten rock into the sky. I don't think I'd want to be getting that close if it's spitting molten rock. If it's hot enough to melt rock, yeah, I don't think I want to get that close. It was unclear if anyone was near the crater at the time of the blast. The emergency services were activated soon after the incident, and evacuations began on the island. Tourists, terrified when ash started rising high into the sky, threw themselves into the sea, ANSA said. Carmelo Sea, a tourist, told Euronews that he was at the beach in Lipari, an island close to Stromboli, on holiday with his girlfriend when the volcano erupted. We were having lunch, and all of a sudden we saw everyone turning their heads in the same direction. We saw a big cloud rising up in the sky and immediately understood it was an eruption from Stromboli. Some people panicked and left the beach, but we stayed as the situation seemed under control. But I hear the island was evacuated. And this is the volcano spewing. We saw the explosion from the hotel. There was a loud roar. Michael Favorito, who works in the hotel on the island, told Reuters, we plugged our ears, and after a cloud of ash swept over us. The whole sky is full of ash, a fairly large cloud, he said. Witnesses shared their experience of the eruption on Twitter. And these are some pictures that were taken of the eruption. These people look like they're safe where they are. According to Aeolian island travel website, Stromboli has been erupting since records began. The Romans called it the lighthouse of the Mediterranean. Locals refer to the volcano as Idu, a dialect word meaning him. The island was the setting for a 1950 movie starring Ingrid Bergman, and with the other islands in the Aeolian arch, I know how to say that word, but I can't say it. Those of you that are new, I used to have a speech impediment when I was young, and they worked with me, and it's just about gone, but every now and then I just stumble over words, and I try and I practice not to, but sometimes it just can't be helped. Has become a favorite location in recent decades for holiday homes for the rich and famous. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I mean, it was large enough to evacuate the island, so that's a big eruption. So, and these seem to be happening all over. I don't know if you watch, there's a website, RSOE, and it shows you all the events all over the world that are happening. You can look up where there are outbreaks of viruses. You can look up, volcanoes that are erupting. You can look up earthquakes, even terrorist attacks. Everything's on this map. So RSOE. If you look, just put that into a search engine and you'll find it, I'm sure. I don't know. I've looked at that website for years and years and years. And it's good. All right. Now, let's go back. No, really, let's. And let's see what else we can get into here. Oh, yes. We've got, I wish, I don't like my Oreos to be politically active. I don't want them to have political messages on them. Now, I haven't eaten an Oreo in years and years and years, but I will not eat them now. Because, look at this. Gay Oreos. Special LGBT edition Oreos indoctrinate kids about trans pronouns. Well. Oreo cookies, a division of international foods giant Nabisco, announced yesterday a special LGBT edition that includes lectures about how to use transgender pronouns. That's right. That's a way to indoctrinate kids. Put it on their cookies. What next? On the milk cartons, maybe? Unbelievable. We're proud to celebrate inclusivity for all gender identities and expressions. In partnership with NCTE, we're giving away special edition pronoun packs and encouraging everyone to share their pronouns with pride today and every day. Now, here's the thing. Who consumes the most cookies? No, it's not the guests of My 600-Pound Life. It's not them. It's kids. Kids like cookies. They do. And let me tell you, if you have kids, or if you are a grandparent and have kids, I bet you buy your share of Oreos. So do you want your Oreos that, look, right on the cookie, ask me my pronouns. Do you want your little grandkids or your kids to be eating these cookies and asking you questions about them? Because I sure don't. Now, I don't have kids, and I don't have grandkids because I don't have kids. It would be hard to have grandkids without kids. I have cats. That's it. And just one cat now because the other two have gone on to cat glory. But anyway, I just wouldn't want my kids eating these. We're proud to celebrate inclusivity for all gender identities and expressions, the company wrote in its Facebook post announcing the change. In partnership with NCTE, we're giving away special edition pronoun packs. Yay! And encouraging everybody to share their pronouns with pride today and every day. Yay! Let's share our pronouns over some milk and cookies. Yeah. NCTE is the National Council of Teachers of English. Oh, that makes me very sad. English teachers. While it sounds benign, this massive organization that affects millions of teachers all over the country and helped write Common Core has been politically far leftist for decades. For example, the organization came out against allowing trained teachers to defend themselves from active shooters using licensed guns. That's right. They expect them to just stand there and get shot. Yeah. Not me. Anyway, its influence on actual English curriculum has been to degrade instruction with politicization and gobbledygook, according to the most rigorous research, yet they still keep being treated as credible, just like all the other corrupt education institutions in this country. Thus, NCTE is in fact largely a political organization, not a professional organization at this point. Assisting with these pronoun packs only makes publicly obvious what has been true about NCTE for decades. This is not just limited to NCTE, but it is true of most major organizations involving involved in K-12 and higher education that exist under the cover of professional associations. Federalist writer Kaylee Triller Harms made this tongue-in-cheek comment in response to Oreos' post. Guess I'll be purchasing some Keebler cookies henceforth. They identify as Oreos, so they're basically the same thing. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like witty people. So did other commentaries. Oddly enough, all the positive comments were on top of the response feed, as I had to scroll all the way down to see the negative comments, even with many hundreds more likes and engagements than some of the positive ones. Yeah, that's a trick of the social media giants. They put all the positive, if it's something to do with that, they put all the positive ones up here. You have to scroll way down to the bottom to get to the negative ones. Yeah. Notice especially the Orwellian language Oreo's Facebook responder employed in its first response below. Maybe NCTE. Oh, my cat is going crazy because there's bugs at the window on the outside, thankfully. I had to scroll all the way down. Okay, wait. Where am I? I lost myself. Okay, notice especially the Orwellian language Oreo's Facebook responder employed in its first response below. Maybe NCTE taught Oreo that tactic too. We're inclusive of everyone so long as everyone agrees with us. We're so diverse, we're willing to ignore, sideline, and offend half the country. Yeah, that's right. Wow, and here I was thinking Oreo was for everyone. That was the response to the one above. Hi, Violet. They are for everyone. The campaign is about showing support for all identities and encouraging inclusivity. Yeah, whatever. And this by Zachary, somebody. Can I identify as an Oreo and just get a regular pack of Oreos? And then this one. Nope, sorry, won't buy any more, even though I love them. I can do without, not supporting a company that promotes this. And then this nonsense is going to be great for my health. I'm never eating Oreos again. Oreos made clear they're taking sides in the culture war against half of America with repeated responses to supportive commenters on their posts like the one below. Thank you, Oreo. Representation matters. Normalizing asking what a person's preferred pronouns are matters. It's just plain human decency. And then Oreo responds, we agree, Carrie. Oreo welcomes all identities. We're proud to support the LGBTQIAZT whatever community. Celebrate all forms of identity, encourage inclusivity at World Pride 2019 and beyond. Yeah. And we fart unicorns and rainbows. Oreo did not include this in its original post, but in response to commentators noted that it's not selling these rainbow Oreos, only giving them away at a large LGBT celebration festival. It appears it wants to get all the credit from LGBT politics without alerting the majority of their customers who probably won't see their Facebook post or this offensive product in any store to tip them off. In other words, this is a big blaring anti-virtue signal. Mm-hmm. For my favorite homemade Oreo recipe, which is a billion times better than powdered sugar and Crisco, stuffed, over-processed, shelf-stable for 1 million years wafer anyway, click here. If King Arthur flour ever goes political, I'm going to cry. It's a good article, and I like the tongue-in-cheek way it was written. So I liked it, and you can't stop me from liking it. All right. Let's see. Oh, yes. Now this is just plain weird. This is what we are dealing with here from the Bongo. Officials at Chicago Airport seize 32 pounds. Do you know how much 32 pounds weighs? Well, I've got a back injury, so 32 pounds is very heavy for me. 32 pounds of rat meat from passenger. Who thought it was a good idea to want to get on an airplane with 32 pounds of rat meat? Seriously, who thought that was a good idea? Could you raise your hand? It wasn't any of you, was it? I hope not. I don't think so. You guys have way more common sense than that. You know, bring venison or something like that, but not rat meat. Who eats rat meat? I don't know. Sorry, Chicago. You'll have to get your imported rat meat elsewhere. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials at Chicago O'Hare International Airport have confirmed the seizure of 32 pounds of rat meat taken from a passenger arriving in Chicago from the Ivory Coast late last month. Oh, it's from the Ivory Coast. Well, there you go. The CBP said the passenger himself alerted officials to the rat meat after arriving on his June 26 flight. Hey, guys, I got rat meat in here. He declared it. Stephen Bransbach, the spokesman for the CBP's Chicago Bureau, confirmed to Fox News he claimed he had meat during inspection. We found that, yes, he had African rat meat, 32 pounds of it. And they wonder why Snowbola is spreading and other diseases. Gee, I can't figure out for the life of me why. The main concerns with imported meat, according to Bransbach, is the possibility of introducing African swine fever or other contagious diseases into the United States. Meats from ASF-affiliated areas or countries, including Sardinia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and parts of West Africa, are prohibited from entry, according to the CBP website. I think that should be common knowledge. You don't bring rat meat into the country. I mean, that's just common knowledge. Who carries raw meat with them on an airplane? No, really, who? The USDA reports that while ASF affects both domestic and wild pigs, humans cannot contract it. People, meanwhile, can carry or spread ASF via contaminated clothing, apparel, vehicles, or equipment. So, don't have to worry about those rats. Yeah. I don't know. And I don't understand because, like, I don't even know how they got on the airplane with that. Seriously, I don't. And do you want to be sitting next to someone that might have 30 pounds of rat meat in their carry-on luggage? I don't. I mean, I remember the time my mom had brought, in Newfoundland, of course, it is an island and separated from the rest of Canada. And there's some things that grow there that you can't get anywhere else in Canada and anywhere else in the world for that matter. And there is a fruit there called baked apple. I don't know why they call it baked apple. I guess because it does have the consistency of a baked apple. And there's another one there, which I can't remember, but they make them into jams and they're very good. So whenever my mom went to Newfoundland, because my mom traveled all the time when she was younger, I mean all the time, she's been everywhere. You know that song, I've Been Everywhere, Man? Well, she's literally been everywhere. So she would go there and I'd always say, get me some jam, because you can't get it anywhere else in the world. And so she'd bring me this jam, and I would fly home every Christmas and sometimes during the year as well to see my mom, and my mom would fly down and visit me quite often as well. But I remember her giving me these things of jam and me trying to get it on the airplane, and this was after 9/11, and they took my jam. And I was so upset. Oh my gosh, I was so upset. You can't get this stuff anywhere in the world. And the thing is, you know, they probably, well, maybe not know it because it was the Americans. So, yeah, I don't know. But I was like, well, you guys enjoy that jam now. And they said, we will. Yeah, it wasn't very impressive to me because you know how hard that jam is to get. Yeah, anyway. All right. African swine fever, don't spread this deadly disease. I don't intend on it. And it just tells you how that can come about. But yeah, we don't want rat meat here. We have real animals here. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. I won't dwell on that anymore. And I'm going to come down to this because, okay, I found this by Canada Anon. I like that name. So obviously this is an Anon from Canada. And this is what they wrote. And I thought this was very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how all this plays out. It really will. And I thought, well, you know what? This is as good as an explanation as any. So just keep in mind that this is an opinion, not fact. Russian sub taken out was a first strike sub and critical to their cruise missile program. VP Pence identified, as leader of the resistance and escorted back to America to face high treason charges for instigating World War III. Q already knew the cabal was coming in a Russian sub. I don't know. I don't know where they're getting this information and what they're basing it on, but I guess it's just as viable as any other guess we have at this point, because we don't know. We don't know what happened yet, and I don't think we're going to. I looked and looked and looked today. I could find nothing, and I think when Mike Pence said, yeah, you'll know in a couple weeks, then I think that we will know. But as of now, I figured out, okay, I'm wasting my time here because it's not out there. It's not leaked. Nobody's, there's people giving conjecture, but that's all it is at this point. So let's come down here. Now, this is interesting. And I am going to finish up real soon because I think I am past an hour at this point. An unknown disease that led to the death of an internal Now, let me tell you where I got this, so you'll know, from the RSOE website, and they are accurate. So this is an epidemic hazard in Bolivia on July 3rd. That's today. But you already knew that. An unknown disease that led to the death of an internal medicine physician. What's he doing? Like you'd know. Sammy. Let me take a drink here. I need it with this cat. I may have to graduate to the hard stuff. I don't know. All right. He is getting better. Well, maybe not. An unknown disease that led to the death of an internal medicine physician, and that has another 2 in serious condition, has led to the activation of health protocols in Bolivia, requesting assistance from international medical teams in order to identify the etiology of the disease. It was announced on Monday, 1st of July, 2019, by the Minister of Health, Gabriela Montano. Initial diagnostic tests indicated a viral disease, but through the analysis of the physician who died and the 2 other professionals who are in intensive care, they have discarded influenza and other viral diseases, such as dengue, according to Montano. In the last hours, Montano increased the number of affected individuals to 5. We have 3 suspected cases in addition to the first and second cases. The other 3 are in the same hospital in La Paz as the original 2 cases. The Minister of Health said at a press conference 2 of the 3 new cases had contact with the 2 doctors who were infected. The 3rd person did not have contact with the professionals but presented similar symptoms, said Montano. In order to establish the origin of the disease, an infectious disease specialist from Brazil and 2 other specialists from Atlanta, United States, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, will help the national... You must have found a bug. Will help the national teams in the investigation. The health authorities have not declared a state of epidemiologic emergency, while the representative from the Pan American Health Organization in Bolivia, Alfonso Tenorio, asked to follow protocols in order to be calm. Bolivia has the equipment and personnel fully trained in order to take the appropriate diagnostic steps, treatment, clinical management, and epidemiologic control, said Tenorio at a press. This is very small. I'm having a hard time reading it. As part of the protocols, the Ministry of Health ordered the mandatory use of masks and latex gloves in local hospitals at the end of last year, 2018. Caranavi, the semi-tropical zone in the northeast of La Paz, where the deceased doctor was infected, reported a dengue outbreak that claimed the lives of 5 people. Now, what's odd about this is it's unknown. They have not found the source for this virus. Now, maybe, I don't know if they have protocol in place or the equipment to be able to test for the snow virus, but it would be very interesting if that's what it is. Because again, it would prove that it is airborne. Because unless one of these people had contact with someone that is infected, which I would doubt, I don't know. But that's pretty major when the doctor dies, the patient dies, and then 3 other people in the hospital are now sick with it. And they don't know what it is. They've called in the CDC. So, yeah, that's major. So I'll keep an eye on that. And you gotta love Elizabeth Warren. No, I don't. But she says, when I'm president, I'll make certain that every person, regardless of race, creed, or economic background, is paid a living wage so they can build a secure future for themselves and their families. That's how we'll make our economy work for working people. I thought our economy was the best it's ever been, but apparently not to Elizabeth Warren, because she wants to make our economy work for working people. And this is the response, which is really why I put this on here, because of the response. So you found the money tree? Bring that puppy out into the open. If you've got the money tree, then actually corporations should stop charging money for stuff, and we should just do away with money altogether. No one would work, and we could ride unicorns every day. I loved that response, because that's my idea of humor. Is a little snark there. You have to put a little snark into it, and this person did that. So, and of course we have this, and I've been sitting on this for a few days because it just seemed like there was more important things to get to, but this is pretty important, because it just shows you how insane this world has gotten. As if you needed any more convincing. I doubt you do. Let's take a boo, shall we? Yeah, men who identify as women are being invited for cervical smear tests, which is a pap smear, even though they don't have a cervix. So what are they going to do? Just shove something up their bum? There's no opening there. They don't have a cervix. However, women who identify as male, this gets even worse though. It gets worse. However, women who identify as male, so these are actually women. They have the anatomical features of a woman, including a vagina and a cervix. They're not being invited. They're not being offered crucial routine breast screenings or cervical cancer checks. And just because you've had your breasts removed as a woman to be a man doesn't mean you can't get breast cancer, because you can. Yeah. So, yeah. Now, is that not just the stupidest thing you've ever heard? Women who identify as male are not being offered vital routine breast screenings and cervical cancer checks in case it offends them. Are you kidding me? Like after 40, you're supposed to be having them routinely. I have one every year because my mother had breast cancer. She had breast cancer and had a breast removed, and then she had breast cancer on the other side and had a breast removed, and she is fine and alive, whereas the women that were with her during that time that she went for radiation and all that stuff, the women that were with her have all died because they did not have their breasts removed, because they kept saying, oh no, I mean, you can have them reconstructed later, but that's what my mom did, and I'm glad because I still have my mom. Others didn't, but I cannot see the sense in not offering this to women who are, okay, they identify as male. But if you're going to offer men that don't have cervix, breast, mammograms and pap smears, then don't you think you should consider the women that, I don't know, are they not offering men that identify as women but still have their anatomical package intact? They're probably not offering them, prostate exams, which they need after a certain age. So this has just gotten way, way crazy. Way crazy. I saw something on Twitter tonight, and I didn't clip it, but I should have maybe. And it had this bird, the birds that talk. I don't know what this particular one was, but it was one of the kind that talk, and it was going, and it was barking like a dog. It sounded just like a dog, even whined like a dog. And it said, this bird identifies as a dog. Does that, is it still a bird? And of course it's still a bird, even though it sounds like a dog. So people have lost their minds. They've lost their minds. I can't imagine. This world we live in does not even make sense anymore. But then I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a night there. I do have some other things, but again, these are things that can wait, and nothing too critical. There really wasn't that much in the news tonight. To tell you the truth, I thought this was going to be a horrific day, but I think a lot of people took half of today off. I mean, I noticed that the stock market got off at 3. They closed the stock market at 3 because of tomorrow being the holiday and everything, which I thought was wild because I don't have a lot in stocks, but whenever I have a few extra bucks, I move it over to a stock thing and I play, I guess. But one of my stocks was just going up and up and up and up and up, and I was watching it. I was going, yeah, come on, Mama needs a new pair of shoes, come on. And then it was all over, and I was like, oh, come on, man. So now I have to wait till Friday, but all right, it'll probably go way down by then. But all right, so that's it for tonight. I'm sorry, I've been in a very chatty mood, haven't I? And I apologize for that because, well, you don't have all night to chat. So I'm going to leave it there, and thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate. I really have the best listeners, and I know I say that, and you probably think I'm trying to be whatever, but I'm really not, because if you don't agree with me, read down through the comments. Seriously. Yeah, you'll find a few trolls every now and then that I miss, but very seldom. So most of the people are great, and I get used to seeing the same names, and I get used to how they think and how they respond, and I get used to their humor, and so it's nice. I feel like I know a lot of you guys, just like you feel like you know me. So I think that's nice. So that's it. And please, please, please stay safe tomorrow. Please stay safe tomorrow. Look at your surroundings. Just because you live in a smaller place or not one of the major cities that you would think that they would normally hit, please pay attention to those around you. Just stay safe. And I hope you enjoy tomorrow so much. I hope you have a blast. At least most of you will be off, and some of you are already retired, so you're already off. So, and I'm always off, so there you go. I hope I will be seeing you tomorrow night, and that is my plan. So, and I'm going to try with everything in me to do a show tomorrow night. So there you go, and I will see you then. Take care, stay safe, sleep well, and please, please stay safe. Come back and see me. I'll be here, hanging around like a bad smell. Good night. Oops. I don't know.